Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Sal, and this is another expedition log. Annandale, Virginia is home to an incredibly diverse population, and most notably and relevant to today's expedition, they have a pretty widespread Korean population. Annandale is also home to the commercial concept that Sam and Steve Choi developed in 1999, which they then used to pitch their idea of a mall within a mall to Security Square Mall. And this was their project that gave way to them opening Seoul Plaza in Woodlawn, Maryland. This is their first one. This is the proof of concept, and this is the origin of why we now have a Seoul Plaza in Woodlawn. This is a strip mall, and it has a few restaurants on the outside, some shady ones, and we'll dive deeper into that later. But I did locate an awesome relic from 1999 that can give us just the right inspiration to jump into a tour of this place. Let's check it out.
난 지하의 유격대 지하의 스프링 슈즈를 찾아라. 와, 지하의 스프링 슈즈.
스프링이 들어있는 지하의 스프링 슈즈.
남자는 지하의 유격대, 여자는 바니 가방을 드립니다. 아, 카드 있네.
지하의 스프링 슈즈.
난 스프링 슈즈는 처음 봐.
4231 Markham Street in Annandale, Virginia. This property, it was opened in 1977. That's when the building was constructed, and it was formally dedicated as the Markham East Center. It underwent some renovation in 1989, and for 10 years, it actually remained at a 91% occupancy rate. At first glance, the Seoul Plaza in Annandale has none of the visual or aesthetic characteristics of the Seoul Plaza in Woodlawn, Maryland. That is, except for the logo on the facade. This very much looks like a professional building. It has a lot of professional buildings. It has a dentist. It has a chiropractic practice. So this was, what I think this was the Choi brothers opening a mass amount of space to lease to various businesses. The inside is, again, a more professional space, and the outward-facing businesses are restaurants. There's a karaoke place, and the inside is it's not a mall. But it was their proof of concept to show that you can offer a mass amount of retail space for a diverse set of businesses, which is exactly what Seoul Plaza at the Security Square Mall was and is, even though the only tenant at Security Square Seoul Plaza is the Seoul Spa. And for whatever it's worth, I'm going to try and get a video on the Seoul Spa. It's going to be tricky because they are pretty heavily guarded. And in the coming months, I will try and get in there with my camera so I can show you guys what it's all about. But until now, the two projects we have so far are this and the Woodlawn Seoul Plaza location. So once again, when this place first opened in 1977, it was the Markham East Center. And after the renovations in 1989, they were able to retain a 91% occupancy rate. Now, this entire strip mall, it spans 3.134 acres. And there's space for 35 businesses. They have sewage, they have drainage and water and gas all wired up. So I'm pretty sure that every space is eligible for a restaurant and or a place that can make use of these things. But the Choi brothers, they had a specific vision in mind. When they came around in 1999, they bought this entire plot of land for $5 million. That purchase of $5 million was against the original principal remaining balance on the mortgage of $2.7 million. Now, I can only imagine that the original tenant bought this for about $3 or $4 million. So, in about 10 years, the value of this place went up by $10 million. Now, from 1977, where we can kind of imagine the original purchase price of about $3 million. The assessment value in 2017 is $8.8 million. Now, that's a huge, huge, huge profit. Despite the occupancy of this place. Now again, when the Choi brothers first bought it in 1999, the occupancy was 91%. They went into this establishment with a pretty high occupancy rate, almost full. Right now, out of the 35 possible businesses, only 18 are occupied. Which again, this leaves them with a near 45 to 49% occupancy rate. Now, let's just talk about profit for just 1 second. In 1999, the Choi brothers, when they bought this property, they were able to acquire it for $2.7 million. As of today, the assessment of this property is $8.8 million. Now, let's look back to 2003, when they purchased the property in Woodlawn, Maryland, for their Seoul Plaza at the Security Square Mall. They paid $2.2 million. 7 years later, they sold it for $13.5 million. These boys are in the business to make money. And while they have owned this property for a very long time, I'm sure they're waiting for the right time to sell. Because this place is not occupied, and it's not in good shape. It's pretty gross. this strip mall has been in service for nearly 4 decades. 77 to 87 to 97 to 2007, and now we're at 2017. Okay, 5 decades. That's insane. And looking at the sale history and the assessment values, nothing has changed. So there's not an incredible amount of drama that's going on in this place. Yes, there are restaurants and businesses that have left and then occupied this place, but there's not an incredible amount of drama that's going on. And you have to look at why has this place survived for nearly half of a century when you have something like the Seoul Plaza in Woodlawn that is in such dire straits. When the Woodlawn location had an incredible anchor, such as the H Mart, the food store that occupied this place, that can serve as an awesome anchor, and even the Seoul Spa, which, from what I'm reading, does an awesome amount of business, and also looks pretty legitimate. Why can a place like this, a strip mall, survive and thrive to such an extent that will overshadow its own family, like the Seoul Plaza in Woodlawn? There are a few restaurants in this place that have undergone some scrutiny from recent assessments. And on the corner here, right now, what we're looking at, this used to be a Honey Pig. Not the karaoke place on the top floor, but this used to be a Honey Pig. And if you wait a second, you'll see some dude just like there. Yeah, I don't know why he's there. But this is closed down. And looking at a couple of cleanliness and food preparation safety assessments, we can gather a couple of pieces of information. A few of these places, and I won't name exactly which one of these they are, but I can tell you that eating at these establishments is a risk. For instance, one of these establishments, which is still open, they received a critical rating from their safety assessment, which said that there was raw meat sitting in containers directly next to cooked meat. Now, this was in 2016, so it wasn't too long ago. There was another documentation noted, a critical documentation noted, that there was raw food being held at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I don't think that's cold enough, and to me it seems like that was kind of just sitting out. So it seems kind of dangerous. The last and most alarming piece of critical observation that the assessment yielded was that somebody in one of these restaurants, a food handler, a server, a cook, one of those things, they prepared raw pork and they were wearing gloves. However, using those same gloves, they then served food. So they grabbed a plate of cooked food. After handling the raw pork, they grabbed a plate of cooked food and brought it out to a patron. It's your call if you want to eat here, but personally, I wouldn't. I hope this place survives, as with any mall, but the Choi brothers have a lot that they need to fix. I would like to thank everyone for watching this video, and if there's something you enjoyed about it, please like and subscribe and set your notifications on, because there's a ton more content coming from this channel and a lot more expedition vlogs. If there's something you disliked about the video, please let me know, and I will work on making this better in the future. Take care, everybody.